Welcome. Good morning. This is Seattle Unity's Sunday service. Hello, all my online friends and the people in the room. Hello. Would you guys please wave? Folks, please wave to our folks at home. If you're in the room, you are experiencing that restart of community. Our folks at home, I just want them to know that we're still thinking of them and they're still very much loved. If you can, stand as you are able. We're going to sing this song. This is Bernice Johnson-Regan from Sweet Honey in the Rock. Some of you may remember this. We're just doing a chorus of one of her pieces. It's a great tune. Jump in as soon as you know it. We who believe in freedom cannot rest. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. We who believe in freedom cannot rest. Oh, we who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. Let's give it a snap. We who believe in freedom cannot rest. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. Freedom. We who believe in freedom cannot rest. We who believe in freedom cannot rest until it comes. Justice. We who believe in justice cannot rest. We who believe in justice cannot rest until it comes. Yeah. We who believe in justice cannot rest. We who believe in justice cannot rest until it comes. Let us pray.
And so let us call forth the activity of spirit as we affirm our opening statement. Together, there is but one presence and one power in my life and in the universe, God the good, omnipotence.
From this quiet place, let's do We Who Believe in Peace, and we'll use this one as a blessing, sending it to someone in the room, someone who's not in the room. We who believe in peace. We who believe in peace cannot rest. We who believe in peace cannot rest until it comes. We who believe in peace cannot rest. We who believe in peace cannot rest until it comes. Now unity. We who believe in unity cannot rest. Oh. We who believe in unity cannot rest until it comes. Unity. We who believe in unity cannot rest. We who believe in unity cannot rest until it comes. Do you hear that voice? I just want to tell you right now, this is Tiffany Wilson. She's back with us. This is the first time in person I've had her with people in the room, and we have loved her for many years, and we're going to love her until the rest of our time. And also here we have Marina Christopher. Some of you thought that was Olivia. That's not. That's Marina Christopher on bass and vocals. And here at the piano, this is Orlando Morales, and we adore him as well, and we see him as a lot too. Thank you. and our congregant helpers. Every week we have congregant helpers, and if you think that you can be a congregant singer or helper, you don't have to actually be able to sing. I bet you don't even know if they sing. I don't know if they sing, but they got too close to me and I said, hey, come on up here. But if you would like to be one of these people, please let me know, because we want to have more folks coming in, more faces coming in. This is Dahlia Cohen, and she's actually the board chair, and Steve Peha. Thank you very much for being here. Let's do another on unity. We who believe in unity cannot rest. We who believe in unity cannot rest until it comes. No, we who believe in unity cannot rest. We who believe in unity cannot rest until it comes.
Good morning and welcome. It is a joy to be here with you, for everyone that's here in the room as well as everyone that's connecting with us online. We are grateful for the technology that allows us to do that. So if you have a prayer request, I invite you, if you're joining us online, you can type it in the chat and we will pray for all those prayer requests at the end of the service. If you're here in the room with us, you can fill out a prayer request form and place it right over there in the basket. And so after the service today, we are going to have a board Q&A. So if you're curious about what's going on with our new building project or our finances, I invite you to join us. And so with that, we are affirming our building prayer together during the service. And so I invite you to join me as we affirm our building prayer. We are engaged in a creative process that blesses future generations. Seattle Unity's building project is unfolding with grace and ease in a timely manner. It is on schedule, under budget, and is divinely guided. The perfect people are in the right leadership positions to shepherd this process. The Board of Trustees, project team, and the congregation are helpful, loving, generous, supportive, and centered in spirit. We use this process as a path to awakening. Can I get an amen? All right, and now another board member, Cindy McComish, has a very special announcement for you.
I would like to start off with a riddle. What has 5 letters, 30 numbers, and a farmer's dog named after it? Bingo! Join us on Wednesday evening, Wednesday, September 22nd, here at Metropolis. Chad Zinda is going to be our MC for the evening. Thank you, Chad. We're going to do a couple of rounds of bingo, bring a sack dinner. We're going to start at 6 o'clock, or a snack. Don't worry if you need to come late. I understand we're starting early, but we want to have a chance to get together, do some fellowship, laugh a little bit, win some prizes. The prizes, yes. You need to go online, use the Seattle Unity website to register, so that we have a prize pool. So there will be some cash prizes and an equal donation back to the congregation, back to the church. Again, that's Wednesday, 6 o'clock, September 22nd. Thank you.
And now we have a few more announcements for those of you joining us online, and everyone in the room, I invite you to stand up and greet one another.
When you're ready, I invite you to be seated again. The room buzz is so excellent right now. It's delightful. I think the folks who have chosen and feel safe enough to be in the room, we're so excited to be around each other. At this moment, I'm going to ask you to settle. We're coming into a more contemplative part of the service, and it's going to include a 3-minute silent meditation for all of the folks in the room. So make yourself comfortable and set aside any distractions. In preparation for that meditation, in the room we'll have silence. The folks at home will have an online video, and it's of rain, very appropriate for today. It's about 3 minutes long, and you'll hear, if you turn your volume up at home, you'll hear that sound of rain. To chant in, we'll sing Shalom, Salam, Pachem. Shalom, 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 shalom. If you like harmonies, go ahead. Shalom, 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 salam, 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 Shalom, 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 shalom.
the state of the world, and it grieves me. I hear the cries of the broken, from the rich and the poor. I smell the fear of disease all around me. I feel responsible now that I've seen, 'cause we're born to live for more than this, more than this. I wanna love like you love, love like you love, wanna love others the way that you love me. I wanna love like you love, love like you love, wanna love others the way that you love me, the way that you love me. Ooh. I've held the children unseen, and it moves me. I wonder what I could do to approve 1,000 lives. I feel the absence of love, and it scares me. I feel responsible now that I've seen, 'cause we all were born to live for more than this, so much more than this. I wanna love like you love, love like you love. I wanna love others the way that you love me. I wanna love like you love, love like you love others the way that you love. I was that lost soul you rescued. I was the orphan you adopted and brought into your heart. I was acquainted with the hopelessness of living in the streets. That was me. I wanna love like you love, love like you love. I want to love others the way that you love me. I want to love like you love, love like you love others the way that you love me. I want to forgive, yeah. I want to forgive like you love the way you love me, the way that you love me. I want to love like you love like you want to love others the way
Thank you, Tiffany. It's great to have you here today. Yeah. So, as Reverend Karen mentioned last week, she was supposed to have a 3-month sabbatical last year, and then the pandemic happened. And so she's taking about a month and a half off the next several weeks. And so we are going to be blessed with several guest speakers. And this morning we have Ann Holmes Redding with us that we are blessed to have with us again. So she was our guest speaker. I was asking her, I think it was a year-ish ago, when we were doing just the online services. So it's fantastic to have her here in person. And so I just want to share a little bit about Ann with you. So Dr. Ann Holmes Redding goes where she is invited locally and nationally to share what she's been learning since the convergence of Islam with her Christian belief and practices since 2006. A teacher, speaker, writer, singer, and spiritual guide, Ann was an Episcopal priest for 25 years. She currently teaches at University of Puget Sound and leads Friday Islamic prayer at the Interfaith Community Sanctuary in Seattle. Recently, she was appointed scholar in residence at St. Luke's Episcopal Church in Renton. She is the founder of Abrahamic Reunion West, a nonprofit dedicated to healing the familial relationship among Jews, Christians, and Muslims. Along with Jamal Rahman and Kathleen Elias, she is co-author of Out of Darkness into Light, Spiritual Guidance in the Quran with Reflections from Jewish and Christian Sources. Please join me in a warm welcome for Ann.
Better take my notes, or else I'll talk forever. It's so good to be with you all in person. I certainly felt the energy when I was with you online last year. And for those of you online, I'm feeling you too. Glad you're there. And you are here. And I want us just to take a second to realize we are here. And the energy of embodiment is such an important thing that I think many of us have come to appreciate in a different way because of COVID. COVID has had some very interesting, what shall I say, unintended benefits or opportunities, I should put it that way, opportunities. And that is one of those benefits is really to take in what it means to be in one another's presence. So just ask us just to take a second. That we're here together. When I agreed to talk today, I had no idea of what day it would be. I wasn't thinking about what day it was, and I certainly had no idea about the theme for the month when I was invited. The alchemy of service. And when I found out, it was one of several signs of the rightness for me to be here during September, because for this whole year at the Interfaith Community Sanctuary, we have been exploring the theme of service. And so I've had 8 months, going on 9 months, to struggle with this theme. And when I say struggle, I have to say struggle. And you'll hear a little bit more about that in a minute. I also didn't put it together until this week that today would have been Ruth Cook Redding's 105th birthday, my mother. So Ruth is in the room. Ruth is definitely in the room, and her voice is with me today. All my mothers are in the room with me today as I share a little bit about service. They're here to help me face this theme and to show that struggling with it is part of an alchemical process. So here's my predicament. We live in this world of vast inequities of all sorts. And we're all set up by those inequities. We're all born into this world of inequities. One of the simplest to verbalize is haves and have-nots. In this world, on this planet, the second category is in the vast majority. Those of us who are materially privileged are in a small minority. There are other kinds of categories that are set up, binaries set up, oppressors and targets, perpetrators and victims. We can go on and on with those categories of privilege and disadvantage. And so when we come as a group to think about service in that context, we bring that baggage with us from wherever our position is. And I would say that in general, just simply by being in this room at this moment, most of us, if not all of us, are in the category of haves. Now, I would also say that we're all mixed heritage, so to speak. We're not simply haves. But when as a community, we take on this notion of service as an attribute, very often we take it on from the side of privilege. We take it on from the side, we have something to give. And with that, in the back of our minds sometimes is this kind of shadow of shame. I shouldn't have what I have. An appropriate shame, in a certain sense. It's appropriate because there are many people in the world who don't have because we have. It's not our intention, but we're part of systems and structures and histories that just have set us up that way. So when we approach this task of service, we're looking sometimes for some kind of atonement, some kind of forgiveness, like, I'm sorry. I remember, since it's 20th anniversary of 9/11, and the very first sermon I preached when I was working at St. Mark's Cathedral, which is the reason I came to Seattle 20 years ago. This is my anniversary of coming to Seattle. The very first sermon I preached there was the Sunday after 9/11. So this is my 20th anniversary of preaching in Seattle. And the questions people were asking that day is, why do they hate us? Why do they hate us? So we look at this whole situation in the world from this position, and we think, we will serve. That's what we will do. As servants, we might be able to make up for the fact that we have. Now, my own personal legacy complicates the matter even more. a story from my childhood. I have 2 younger sisters, and on the days that my father particularly would take us to school, he would line us up and he would do a posture check. Chin up, shoulders back. He'd check our fingernails, make sure our fingernails were clean. Make sure that we were appropriately dressed as the warriors for integration we were raised to be. Proving that African Americans, or Negroes, as we were called in those days, are equal by being superior. That was the project. Made sense, given my family's legacy. I'm of mixed heritage, but genetically about a half African heritage, and that is the heritage in which I live. Also, indigenous heritage from this continent and European heritage. I'm really very much an all-American breed. But the context that has shaped me the most, emotionally, socially, culturally, spiritually, is that one that I was so intentionally raised in, and that is being African American. On both sides of my family, there was a kind of catapulting out of enslavement. My great-grandmother, at the age of 10, ran away from the farm in which she was enslaved in the company of an 18-year-old girl. They eventually were dragged back to, they were captured by slave catchers, and beaten, because you don't let someone escape, even if she's 10 years old, and not disfigure her so that she will be a sign to others. And she has to stay there because no one else will buy her. From that story, my grandfather, that woman's son, and his wife, my grandmother, the woman for whom I'm named, were both college graduates. And my father has been called a hero, and a personal hero, by the President of the United States, because my father was the first, and for 26 years, the only African-American lawyer in a segregated state. And so my mother, having been raised in an integrated state, said, well, we can't live in Delaware. We have to live in Pennsylvania or New Jersey because you can practice law in Delaware, but I'm not raising my children in a segregated state. And so my father said, I'll desegregate Delaware. That's the way it's told in the family, but there's some truth to it because his brief in Brown versus Board was the only one that had set the precedent for integration in schools. That's why Joe Biden spoke at his funeral. So we were raised by those people who catapulted their way out of slavery. My mother was part of the first class of Fulbright scholars. That's the way we work in our family. But it leaves me with this suspicion about service. A suspicion because I have service confused with enslavement. I woke up actually this morning with a prayer in my mind because I was still pondering about this talk when I went to bed last night, and I woke up this morning with words from a prayer from childhood. We were raised in the Episcopal Church, and we're faithful members of a little parish near where we lived. And there was a prayer, one of the regular prayers said in the morning prayer service at that church, had the line in it, "O God, whose service is perfect freedom." O God, whose service is perfect freedom. And that fragment opened a window. That was the alchemy of the morning. And it joined some of these lessons that I've been learning over the months about this notion of service. The first is that we are all made, we humans, made, as it says in one of the sacred texts, made in the image of God. I've thought about that a lot. What does that mean to be made in the image of God? And this morning I thought perhaps part of what it means to be made in the image of God is to be made in the image of the one who created us as humans with this distinction of being able to choose whether or not we love God back, whether or not we understand that all of creation is a sign of God. And we within creation have this capacity where I like to think of us as a kind of, it's almost a science experiment of God's. Let's see what these people can do with this capacity. Let's see what these creatures can do. I want to make something that will love me back. I think of the poem by James Weldon Johnson, The Creation. And in that poem, he says that God was lonely. I think I'll make me, he said, a man. I'll make me a human. And we're created with this capacity to choose to love God back. And the way we show that we know who it is we're loving is by serving the rest of creation. That's how we show it. I realized that my ancestors have known the distinction between enslavement and service. They've known who it is they were serving all along, no matter what kind of evidence they were presented with to the contrary. My ancestors have stood in their spiritual sovereignty. And that was part of the title I sent in for the sermon. Episcopalians don't generally give titles for sermons, and so I'm always at a loss when I'm asked for a title, because I don't actually know what I'm going to preach about until the morning of, often. And so I came up with this title, Revolutionary Service and Spiritual Sovereignty, and it's I'll take it. Because this capacity we have as humans is spiritual sovereignty. I've learned that from my indigenous teachers, that no matter what situation we're born into, we stand in the sovereignty of that situation And that is the position from which we serve. Our service in that way defies the systems of domination that control this world, that seem to control this world. They show every time we act out of the spiritual sovereignty given to us that those systems, those structures, if we act in freedom, if we act for our own liberation, our own way out of whatever strictures our social status, our race, our gender, our cultural background, our income, our ability, sexual orientation, whatever categories, and all of those categories are limiting, and it doesn't really matter which side you're on in that regard, because they limit us and give us a false picture of who we are and who other people are. For us who are part of the group, the small group of haves that have such incredible material power in this world, part of what it means to be of service from that position is to look to those who are in positions of enslavement in the present and learn from them. Learn from them what sovereignty looks like. It also means learning about your setup, learning about where you fit in the world, what your legacy is, what it brings you. We all come from other humans. We all come from people who had that capacity. We all come from people who had complicated lives, all come from people who were born into the setup as we were. We can look to them. And again, from my indigenous teachers, I've known that learned that we can look to them. We can look to them for lessons. We can look to them to see what they did with their freedom, and we can act informed by their decisions. We might have some reparations to make. We might have some education to grab onto. We might get some kind of picture of what we can do in the present today. That's how I am defining service. We need all the minds, all the hearts, all the gifts of all of humanity freely offered in this moment for the common task of this assignment we've been given to sustain human life on this planet by going for all the options. We can't afford to not to have everyone on board. So we can't afford not to be of service. And this kind of service upends the fixed statuses of people. If all are servants in this kind of servants, there are no slaves and there are no masters. There are no slaves and there are no masters. So sovereignty, our spiritual sovereignty, we have to dig deep here. We have to dig deep because the first liberation project is inside of ourselves. Is inside of ourselves. And looking at those places where we have become trapped, in Christian terms, by the world, the flesh, and the devil. The world, where our status, what people think of us, how we live, the way we want to show in life, the posture checks. The flesh. What are we addicted to that's less than God? The devil. What's that voice that they call in Islam, the voice of the slinking whisperer? What does it say to you? How does it cut you down to a small, small size? So that service, that sovereignty, starts by looking at ourselves, liberating ourselves, and then taking that out into the world, taking that love that happens inside ourselves when we realize who God has made us to be. We take that love out into the world, and in sovereignty, we go looking for people to spread that love too, and we do that by service. That is our service. This is our time. This is our moment. It is our privilege. That's the way we all are privileged, to be alive in this moment. What a job. Whoa, we have a job to do that is really unprecedented in human history. And that's not an exaggeration. Many things have led to this moment. But one of my teachers has said, what human beings have messed up, with God's help, human beings can undo. I have some questions about that in this moment. But I do know that part of the answer is to step into our spiritual sovereignty. Release the love that comes when we know ourselves to be free. And use that freedom and that love as service in the world. Amen.
Good morning or evening, friend. Here's your friendly announcer. I have serious news to pass on to everybody. What I'm about to say could mean the world's disaster, could change your joy and laughter to tears and pain. It's that love's in need of love today. Don't delay, send yours in right away. Hate's going round, breaking many hearts. Stop it, please, before it's gone too far. The force of evil plans to make you its possession, and it will if you let it destroy everybody. We all must take precautionary measures. If peace and love you treasure, then you hear me when I say, oh, that love's in need of love today. Don't delay, send yours in right away. Oh, hate's going round, trying to break my heart. Stop it, please, before it's gone too far. Oh, love's in need of your love today. Don't delay, send yours in right away. Hey, it's going round, yes it is, and it's trying to break my heart. Stop it, please, before it's gone too far. Ooh, ooh,
Tiffany Wilson.
Yeah, we heard that one. Tiffany, thank you. Again, I'm Cindy, part of this community, part of the Board of Trustees, and I'd like to take a moment here to come together and bless our tithes and our offerings. Your donations here to Unity are important, and we are grateful for the opportunity to participate in the cycle of giving and receiving. You can text now, number is on the screen, or give via the website at seattleunity.org. If you are in the room, have a donation, please leave it at the counter in the back. And we thank you all for your gift, whatever the amount. Every gift matters and goes to support the mission and the vision of this ministry. And so I invite you to join with me in blessing all donations as we say together on the screen, I give willingly, joyfully, and lovingly, knowing that God is the constant source of my supply. I give with graciousness and receive with gratitude. And so it is.
Thank you, Cindy, and thank you, Anne, for being with us today. We are blessed to have you here. And so we come now to a time when we can join together in prayer. We pray for all those who have entered prayer requests in the chat as well as here in the room. And so let us connect to that divine capacity that is the truth about each of us, the inherent truth within us, and center in our hearts as we pray and know divine order unfolding in the lives of Annie and Faith, Sabrina, Alex Vaughn, Tony and Baby, Iris and Olivia. Breathing in, and again sending our prayers for divine order, healing, prosperity. For Jason and Julio, Enrique, Lori and Mom, Alex, those recovering from Hurricane Ida, Ashley and Rose, Martha, Mike, and Gia, Angelo and family, Felix and Alfonso, Stephen. And as we breathe in again, extending prayers to Shirley and Chuck, Ian and Britt, Jed and Gus, Bill and Brooke, Mike and Aaron, Judy and Patricia. And so we hold all these in light. We also remember on this anniversary weekend of September 11th, all those who lost their lives, all those who were impacted in the events of that day and all that followed. And so we know there is no distance in spirit. And so as we join our hearts and consciousness together, our prayers go forth to bless all those. And if you know someone else in need of prayer, I invite you to hold them in your heart as well. And so now let us close with our prayer for protection. Together, the light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And that's the truth. Yes. So a reminder, we are going to have a Q&A following the service. We're going to start at about 11:10. So if you're online, remember you need to jump off and get onto the Zoom link. If you're here in the room, you have a few minutes to stretch your legs, and then please come back and we'll call you back at 11:10. So if you're curious about the building or our finances, please come back and join us for that. Thank you.
Let's sing a closing song together. If you're at home, I invite you to stand as you are able. Use this moment to bless anyone around you and for the rest of the day, and also to release our service. If you're in the room, I encourage you to actually look at other people. I know they're very far away, and the older I get, the more far it seems. But the prettier you are, because I can't see anything. You look gorgeous. Actually, you do. So I invite you to sing to each other, all is well, and we'll bless this room and this ministry.